Now we are going to see the unit 1 in embedded system. It's the introduction to embedded system. First of all, we should know about system. System is a way of working, organizing, or doing one or many tasks according to the fixed plan. Fixed plan means it may be a program or set of rules, okay, and this system is also arranged many of components and work together according to the plan or program. It's a system means it should give the instructions to the it gives instruction to the hardware, okay. For example, time display system is an system, or automatic clothes washing system, and a telephone answering machine, and elevator controller. In time display system, which means it's a watch. We know watch is a time display system. It has a hardware parts like needles and battery with the dial and chassis and straps. These parts are organized to show the real time in every second and continuously update the time in every second. And second example is a washing machine. A washing machine follows the following steps. First one is it has some organized terms, which means spin and rinse and after drain and drain and drying the clothes. Spinning means motor according to the program period it will spin. After this, rinse in fresh water after draining out the dirty water, and rinse the second time if the system is not programmed in water saving mode. Okay, இப்போ வந்து வாஷிங் மிஷினில் மூணு ஸ்டெப்ஸ் இருக்கும்: ஸ்பின்னிங் அண்ட் ரின்சிங் அண்ட் ட்ரைனிங். அப்போ இப்போ வந்து ஃபஸ்ட்டு வந்து வாட்டர் லெவல் வந்து செட் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க, அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரி ஸ்பின் ஆகும். ஓகே, நெக்ஸ்ட்டு வந்து ரின்ஸ், அடுத்து வந்து ட்ரைன். இப்போ வந்து இன்ட்ரப்ட், இதில் ஏதாவது இன்ட்ரப்ட் வந்துச்சுன்னா, இப்போ இஃப் பவர் சப்ளை கட் இந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது இன்ட்ரப்ட் வந்துச்சுன்னா ஆல்ரெடி ஸ்டாப் ஆன பிளேஸில் வந்து அகைன் ரொட்டேட் ஆகும். இஃப் வி நீட் த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ப்ராசஸர். இப்போ ஃபஸ்ட்டு வந்து நம்ம ஸ்பின் ரின்ஸ் எல்லாம் வரணும்னா நம்ம தான் அகைன் வந்து ப்ரோக்ராமிங்கை போய் பாஸ் அண்ட் ப்ளே பண்ணணும், ஓகேவா. This is the one kind of system. And now we can see the components of embedded system in hardware. In hardware, there is in a computer is a system which has a collection of components used to execute the task according to the program or commands given it. Here we can see the components of embedded system, which means power supply, reset or oscillator circuits, and input and output interfacings, and processor. Processor இருந்தாலே கண்டிப்பாக கண்ட்ரோலர் இருக்கும், and controller இருந்தால் we should have a timer, and program memory, and serial communication ports, parallel ports, system application, specific circuits. Okay. Now வந்து மைக்ரோப்ராசஸரில் வந்து லார்ஜ் டைம் மைக்ரோப்ராசஸரில் ஃபஸ்ட் ஒன் இஸ் ப்ராசஸரில் என்ன யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்கன்னா மோஸ்ட்லி மைக்ரோப்ராசஸர் 86051 இந்த மாதிரி மைக்ரோப்ராசஸர் யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. நெக்ஸ்ட் மெமரி. The large memory comprising the following two kinds. ரெண்டு டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் இருக்குது: primary memory and secondary memory, and RAM, ROM and fast accessible caches. Secondary memory is a CD-ROM and magnetic memory, and other input units like input or system input units may be keyboard, mouse, digitizer, scanner, and output units may be video monitor and display, printers. These are all the output. And speakers also the output devices, okay. And networking units is like Ethernet cord and front-end processor based driver, etc. IO units like a modem, fax modem, etc. Then it has a hardware shown in the figure, which means hardware of embedded system. It has a main application software. The application software may perform concurrently the series of multiple tasks. That application software is which means RTOS, that is a real-time operating system. Real-time operating system is defined the way of the system works. System means the way of working, organizing, or doing one or many tasks according to the set of rules or planning. Here RTOS, which means the way of working, okay. An embedded system has a software design keep in view of three constraints, which is available system memory and available processor speed, and the need power dissipation limit, okay. Then Then we can see the structural units and embedded processor. We can see three structural units. A processor is an important unit of a embedded system. It will classified based the bit size. First one is small scale embedded system, medium scale embedded system, large scale embedded system. Okay, in small scale embedded systems are designed as a single 8-bit or 16-bit microcontroller and has a little hardware and software complexities, and it involves a board level design. C language is mainly used in small scale embedded system. Okay, the software used in those systems must be fit within the memory available and keep in view need to limit power dissipation. Okay, then second one is medium scale embedded system. Medium scale embedded system is designed with a single or a few 16 to 32 bit microcontrollers or DSPs, which means reduced instruction set computers, RISCs. Okay, and their systems have both hardware and software complexities. For complex software design, the following programming tools are used. The programming tools used in the medium scale embedded system. It may be asked in MCQ questions. Which of the following tools are used in medium scale embedded systems? It may be a RTOS, source code engineering tool, and simulator and debugger, and integrated development environment. இதில் ஏதாவது ஒன்று கொடுத்து MCQல கேட்பாங்க. Okay, maybe mostly RTOS is used tools in medium scale embedded system. Okay. இதில் வந்து medium scale embedded systemல another one part is a sophisticated embedded system, which means it have enormous hardware and software complexities, and it may need scalable processor or a configurable processor and programmable logic arrays. Okay, and here we can see processor in embedded system has two essential units, which means program flow control unit CU, fetch unit or fetching instruction, and execution unit EU, or data transfer and operation and data conversion. EU includes ALU, which means arithmetic logic units. Okay, and also the circuit that executes instruction for program control task, halt, interrupt, and jump instruction. Processor in a system has a program flow control unit and EU unit. The CU includes a fetch unit for fetching instructions from the memory. The EU has that implement the instruction pertaining the data transfer operations and data conversion from one form to another form. Okay, here EU includes ALU, which means arithmetic logic unit, and also circuits that execute the instructions for a program control task. It can also execute instructions for a call or branch to another program and for a call a function. The processor is mostly in the form of IC chip or VLSI chip. Okay, now the systems, if we need to design the system designer must know the following things. First one is instruction set and maximum bits and apparent in a single arithmetic logic operations, and clock frequency in megahertz, and processing speeds in million instructions per second. Processor ability to solve the complex algorithms in meeting deadlines for their processing. Okay, wow. Embedded processor is classified into three types. These are the explanations for CU and EU. Already we've seen. Types of embedded system, which means it has a general purpose processor and application specific system processor, and multiprocessor system using general purpose processor and application specific instruction processor, that is ASIP cone. Okay, here the general purpose processor is again classified into 5 types: microprocessor, microcontroller, and embedded processor, and digital signal processors, DSP, and media processor. Okay, first, general purpose processor. General purpose processor is used for following reasons. The processors by known the instructions available at predefined general purpose instruction set results in fast system development. We have to create the instruction set for each processor that will get the instruction set. Okay, once the board and IO interface are designed for a general purpose processor, these can be used for a new system by just changing the embedded software in a board of RAM. Okay, ready availability of compiler facilities, embedded software developed in a high level language, and ready availability of well tested and debugged processor specific APIs and codes previously designed for other applications results in a fast component development of a new system. In microprocessor, if in CPU unit generally fetches and processes a set of general purpose instruction, it has following instruction sets. We can in 2 marks they may ask what are the instruction sets for microprocessor. First one is instructions for data transfer operations. Second one is instruction for ALU operations. Third one is stack operation instruction set, and fourth one is input and output operation instruction set. Fifth one is program control instruction set, and sixth one is sequencing and supervising operations instruction set. We can specify the microprocessor family with a stream basis. In stream 1, Motorola and 68 HCXS is a microprocessor family. Source is Motorola, and features of that IC is CISC. Okay. Now we are going to see the controller. Here we see about processor. Now we are going to see about the controller in hardware components. Here we are using microcontrollers. Microcontroller is the most essential part of computing systems, and it's a single chip VLSI unit. It's also called a microcomputers, and which is tough having limit computational capabilities, possesses enhanced input output capabilities and number of on chip functional units. Okay, microcontroller is used when a small or a part of embedded system embedded software has to be located in single internal memory when on a chip functional units like interrupt handler, port timer, or ADC or a PWM needed. Okay, various functional circuits in microcontroller chip. We can see multiple parts in microcontroller chip. First one is functional circuits in chips that will contain a processor, external memory interface, interrupt controller, and data and stack in internal RAM, and input output ports, and ERT communication port, and serial port, and timer, and watch day timer. Okay, application of specific circuits are DMA controller, and AD converter, and LAN controller, network driver stack, and a modem, printer controller, DTMF controller. These are all the applications of microcontroller. Okay, and now we're going to see the Embedder Processor under the medium scale embedded system. Okay, instead of microcontroller or processor, we can use embedded processors. It should contain fast construct switching, and the slower latencies of a task in complex real-time applications. Real-time application, which means examples of real-time application is scanning a barcode in supermarkets and ATM machines. In ATM machine, we can in ATM machine here nowadays we need a OTP for debiting above 10,000. These are all the real-time applications for processors. Okay, and risk score for fast, more precious and intensive calculations by embedded software. Okay, and another one is digital signal processor, DSP. Digital signal processor is an essential unit of embedded system for a large number of applications needing processing signal. And example applications are in image processing, multimedia, audio video, HD TV, and DSP modem, and telecommunication processing systems. The DSP is a GPP in a single chip VLSI unit. Okay, it possesses the computational capabilities of microprocessor, and also has a multiply and accumulate units. Okay, in DSP provides fast discrete time, and it's a not a continuous, it's a discrete time signal processing instructions. It has a very large instruction world VLIW, and processing the capabilities, it processes the following things in a fast manner. First one is single chip multiple data SIMD, and discrete cosine transform DCT. Those it will be these discrete time instructions will be covered in your next semester paper, like DSP. Okay, previous semester paper DSP. And inverse discrete cosine transformations. Another one processor is media processor. Media is a innovative processor that with a high system performance, and for real time video performance, audio processing and data streaming. And media processor facilitate a seamless fusion of mobile telephony with a broadband internet. And multiprocessor system using general purposes processor. Example for considering a cell phone system in a following number of tasks have to be performed. If we are going to take example of a mobile phone, first one is speech signal comparison and coding. It may be a DSP pattern, and the second one is dialing. Third one is modulating and transmitting, and demodulating and receiving. Signal decoding and decompression, and keypad interfacing and display interfacing handling. Short message service protocol based messaging, SMS message display. Okay, and now we are going to see about the structural units in embedded system. Structural unit of embedded system can be divided into two parts. First one is hardware units and software units. Hardware units contains power source and power source, own power supply, and charge power supply system, and clock oscillator circuit, RTC, real time clock, etc. Okay, first one is power supply. An internal power supply source or a charge pump is essential in every system. An embedded system has to perform tasks continuously from power up to power off. It may be kept on continuously. Okay, and own power supply system may be various units in a embedded system operate in one of the following four operation ranges. Maybe a 5 volt to plus or minus 2.25 volt, and 3.3 volt to plus or minus 0.3 volt, and 2 volt to 0.2 volt, and 1.5 volt to plus or minus 0.2 volt. Power should separately power the external IO. It should give a power to external IO port, and timer, clock, and reset circuits. And clock and reset circuits need to be specially designed to be free from any radio frequency interfaces. An IO device may dissipate more power than other internal units of processor. A timer may dissipate a constant power even in a wait state. Hence, these three circuits are powered separately. From the supply, three should be separate interconnections for pairs of VDD and VSS pins, analog ground and analog reference, and analog input voltage lines. Charge power supply system. It contains following charge pumps, which means network interface card and graphic oscillator are example of embedded systems that do not have their own power supply and connect to PC power supply lines. Okay, the current embedded at any instant in the processor of embedded system depends on the state of mode of processor. The following are the typical value in 6 state of processor. First one is 50 MA when only processor is running, that is the processor is executing instructions. And 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 now we are going to see about the input interfacing device, that is input output IO ports and IO interfaces. The system gets inputs from many physical devices such as keyboard buttons and sensors and transducers, circuits, etc. Inputs are passed through the input ports. A controller circuit is the system gets inputs from the sensor and transducer circuits. A receiver is a receiver of signals or network card gets the input from the communication system. Consider the system in automatic chocolate vending machine. If you are giving a coin, it will throw the chocolate what you want. It gets input from a port that collects a coin in a child insert and presume that only child use the wonder machine. Okay, as like input ports, every system has output port to send the output bytes to the real world. An output may be a LED or LCD panel. In recently we can see the output for this output may be LED. We can see lot of applications in LED. Okay, for example, calculator or mobile phone system sends output numbers or sending SMS to the LCD display. A system may send output to a printer, and an output may be communication system or networking. A control system sends the output to alarms and actuators, furnaces, air boilers. A robot is sent output for its various motors. Each output port is identified by its memory buffer addresses. The system sends the output by write operation to the port address. Okay, next PPT we can see the memory cycles. What is the program memory and data memory? Okay, thank you.